Hi, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and today I'm going to show you how I made this epoxy resin, what they call an elk. So what I'm using is Let's Resin, and this is part B epoxy resin, and I am going to pour, I believe it's 2 ounces into my container, and then I'm going to get out part A and do another 2 ounces for a total of 4 ounces, or was that right? Maybe it was 3 ounces. I don't remember. 3 ounces maybe. But anyway, I'm going to stir this up for 4 minutes. Once my 4 minutes is up, I'm going to add some mica powder, and this is rose red. Very bright pinkish color, very pretty. And I'm going to put about 1.5 spoons in there. I want to say this was probably 3 ounces, maybe 2.5 ounces, 2.5 ounces maybe. So I'm just gonna fill my little elk up just a little bit, and then I squish it, try to get out any air bubbles that may be down in the bottom, and then I'm gonna finish pouring it. And I did get my mold from Into Resin. And my mica powders are off of Amazon. And so it does come in 2 pieces. You have the elk itself, and then you have their antlers. They're in a separate mold. And I'm actually going to put this on my heat table on low for 2 hours. And then I do it again on medium for 3 hours. And I take my lighter and I pop any bubbles. There was a little fire going on there. And these lighters I did get off of Amazon. They come 4 in a package. So this is hours later, and I'm going to demold my elk. And that big old head, it is a little difficult to get out. So I'm going to get out my 91% alcohol, and I'm going to kind of spray down in the mold a little bit. And try to get the mold loosened from the resin itself. Sometimes I think this is the hardest part in doing resin, especially on these little characters and all, because they all have big old heads. It's hard to get them out of the mold. And I had to spray it a little bit more, so I pulled my mold away from my resin even further, and then sprayed the alcohol down in there, and see how I'm pulling that, and it's letting the elk get off of the mold there. And then it's a little bit easier to get out. It did take some time though, I'm not going to lie about that. But look, it's coming off. It's coming off. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Oh, there it is. There it is. There she is, I should say. So look at that bright pink color. Love that. And then these are the antlers. And they turned out perfect. And you just pop them down in the hole there. Of course, you do want to glue them down. And I know I'm just taking my fingernail file and I'm filing down the bottom of my elk. You know, it is a little jagged there and it could cut you. So I'm just going to smooth that out a little bit with my fingernail file. And then I decided to take my little manicure scissors there and cut off the ridges on the bottom of my elk. I probably could have filled the mold up a little bit more and I wouldn't have all these edges to cut off. But I didn't, so this is the way of, you know, taking care of that. So just cutting it with my scissors. And then I'm going to sand it down a little bit more with my fingernail file. And then I'm going to glue in my antlers. So I'm just going to use my art glitter glue. And I'm just going to put it down in that hole. And I want to make sure it's on the bottom and the sides of the hole. I know you can't see me doing that too well. Sorry about that. It seems like I'm always not under the camera for some reason. And now I want to put a butterfly on the hip of my elk, or the buttocks, the back part. And I end up using a little yellow one. Again, I know I'm not under the camera, sorry about that. But I will show you in a second. There it is. So just glued it there on his rump, or her rump. And now I have these little gems. These were from a kit for the diamond dot paintings. And these were left over. So again, I'm just taking my art glitter glue and I'm going to put it around the neck of my elk, and then I'm going to add my little diamond dots to it, my little bling bling. So I just kind of dumped them out on my mat there, spread them out, and then I'm going to put them on there. So yeah, if you're ever doing those diamond paintings and you have leftover dots, don't throw them away. You can always use them in your crafting. These were off of some butterfly magnets that I had. And these are just some yellowish gold tone colored ones. Just make her a little choker. I'm going to go ahead and put glue all the way around the rest of her neck. Because it does help if your glue dries just a tiny bit before you put your little gems on. Because otherwise, sometimes they just don't stick because your glue is too wet. And they want to stay on your tool there. And these are pretty much the same color as the butterfly. And my art glitter glue, I did get off of Amazon also. But they do not ship it in the colder months. They only ship it during the spring and summer and fall. They do not ship during winter. I'm guessing maybe the glue hardens up or something like that. I don't know. And then I do put what I say are the eyes. I don't know. These might be ears actually. And I'm just going to put one on each of those. Pretty cute. There she is. And then I decide to put a butterfly on her nose. Just didn't know if it was going to look good, so I get another one of the yellow ones and put my art glitter glue on her nose there, and then just add the butterfly. And this glue does dry pretty quickly. So now she's all finished. You have to tell me what you think of her. I just love that color of pink. There she is. And now I took a picture of her outside on a log. She's so pretty. Let me know what you think. And again, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, and I would love to hear from each and every one of you. I love to read your comments, and I will see you in the next video.